Are your children at risk for dehydration? Hi, this is Dr. Roger Smith with Parenting Matters Now. And as you can see, I've been working outside and I'm in the deep south in Louisiana, and there are a lot of advantages to living here, but one of them is not the lack of humidity and its effects on the body. Actually the how much it makes you sweat and lose fluids, and so it brings up the whole idea of dehydration in children, and they're likely not to get dehydrated just from playing out and working in the sun, but that is one way that you lose fluids. But how can you assess as parents dehydration and whether your child or you need extra fluids? And so your body is quite smart in recognizing whenever the body fluids are low, and it gives you signals, and there are compensations that your body makes that you should be aware of. And the easiest one to watch is the urine. The urine is dark, it's golden, it's got a lot of color in it. That's usually a sign that the body is could use more fluids. The darker it is, the more fluids that are needed, because what the body is doing is reabsorbing as much water out of the urine as possible and concentrating it. So a very concentrated urine is a signal. So I've been working out in the sun this morning and not really drinking much, and so if I looked at my urine right now, it probably would be a bright yellow. And I'm going to tank up on fluids now and kind of get caught up. If your child is behind on fluids, one of the things we look at is one, decreased urine volume, and then also the concentration or the color of the urine. And so trying to drink enough to where the urine is clear is actually a good sign. And so that's one of the other things. You know, if you're good at checking the pulse rate, that's one of the early signs that the body is low on fluids, is the pulse rate start to go up, because with the contracted or decreased blood volume from fluid losses, the body circulates that fluid faster. Does that make sense? That if there's less of it, it just circulates it faster to accomplish the same effect. And so an increased pulse rate, and naturally whenever we're in trouble from dehydration, it begins to affect the thinking, because what is happening inside the body is that it's pulling fluids from every source it can, because it wants to maintain the circulating blood volume, and so it pulls fluids from the tissue, and one of the tissues it pulls fluid from is from the brain. So when the brain gets dehydrated, your thinking is not as clear, you're a little bit foggy, and actually can get so to the point that you're passing out, and that's usually when the blood pressure is dropped, and a number of things. So we don't want to get to that point, so look for the early signs. You know, decreased urine volume, concentrated urine, increased pulse rate, and the biggest thing is to replace fluids, and the most important fluid is actually just water. Water restore, that's what we largely are losing in sweat. You know, it tastes a little salty, but it's mostly water. And so you can replace it with mineral fortified waters, whether it's Powerade, Gatorade, or any of the other electrolyte solutions. But for most of us, if we're not highly competitive athletes, those are not required to replace water. They're okay, it's fine to use those, but water is of utmost importance. And so watch out for those things and avoid dehydration, moms and dads. This is Dr. Roger Smith with Parenting Matters Now.